Hello, and welcome to the Extra Credit ITGS podcast. It's been a while. This is our third episode, and today we're going to be talking about geographical information systems in general, and specifically some features of Google Maps that allow you to create your own maps and allow you to create custom maps, and also the way that your phone collects information, geographical information, because it's collecting your location, and how it can be visualized in Google Maps. We're going to discuss some different ways that these tools can be used or that are used, and we're going to talk a little bit about the ethical implications, the social and ethical issues related to the system. So here I have Google Maps. You are probably familiar with this tool. It has a lot of different applications. It's a very, very interesting tool, and there's a lot of things we can do with it. Okay. First off, one of the things that we can do today is you can, on the sidebar, you have a menu item called Your Places. And these are places that you have saved, and they're personal, but you can also create different maps for yourself. Okay, I'm going to create a new map here, and I'm going to zoom in there. You can see that with the new map, you get these options of adding layers, importing data, sharing the map, and previewing the map. You can also name the map. And you can add different types of data and import different types of data. One of the things that you can import is images from your albums, from your photo albums, which is really, really... it's something that you can do because your phone is tagging with the location all the photos that you're taking. Okay, so let's say I have this album of a trip that I took. Okay, and I'm going to select all of the images. I'm going to select the images that I want to add to this map. And I guess this is a good place. This is a good place to start talking about some of the issues. You can see that there are people in these images. In some of these images, there's people, and I have to ask myself: do I want to share images with these people in them? Because it is their right to have privacy to not share their image. So I'm not going to share images that have people in the frame, right? So especially if they're children, that's a big deal, because there are laws against actually sharing images of children without the consent of the parents, for example, in some places. So there, I chose the images that don't have people in them, and I'm going to select those. They're being inserted into the map, and because every image has a geotag location attached to it, it is actually inserting the images in the location where they were taken. And you can see that, for instance, with these images, right? Now, if I'm so inclined, I can share this map, give it a name. So this, for example, is a local place, very nice place. It's called Casa Tecpan. Okay, I can save the name of the map, Casa Tecpan. I can rename the photos if I want. I can preview my map. there it is. This is what would be seen, and I can share this map. I can embed this map on a website. I can share it via email, and I can share it on Google+. This map is not public. Change permissions. So here you can see that I'm changing change the permission. It says right now that the map is private, and I can change that and make it public on the web in this case, because if I want to share it via Google Plus, for instance, it needs to be public. So there you go. So I'm going to share it, and I'm going to tag it as Geographical Information Systems, Environment, and the issues related to this are privacy. So I'm going to share it like that. And I'm going to add a little. This is a map I created using photos taken with my phone that have been geotagged automatically. There you go. Post that. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. There's also another feature that you can actually try out if you'd like. I'm going to go back to maps. I'm going to close that. And you can also create a map. That's your places. Maps, create a map from information from a spreadsheet. Okay, so you would be importing data from a spreadsheet, and I have a spreadsheet here, and it has the names of some of my family members, my relation to them, and their location. This is not an exact location. It's not set in latitude and longitude. It's actually just an address. All right, and the really interesting thing is that Google Maps will actually search for the address and find it on the map and add the item to the map. So I'm going to import from Google Drive. I'm going to say a recent file, and I'm going to pick this spreadsheet that's called Family Map. It's fetching the information. It's asking me choose the column to position your place marker. So I want to use the location as the column that has the position, longitude and latitude, or an address. Continue. Choose the column to use as title. Okay, title. Finish. So it's actually importing the data, finding the places, and mapping the places right here. So for example, Javier, that's Javier, he lives there. Victor, that's Victor, he lives there. Manuel, he lives there. Anna, and me. All right. Again, I could share this map, or I'm using this just as an example. But for instance, other applications that are possible are, for instance, if you are taking a look at news stories. Let's say a newspaper wants to add location data to the news stories that they handle. I actually created a map not too long ago, and I'm going to close this one, and news map, for instance. So these are different stories for the day, right? And they are geotagged so that the newspaper can actually or you can explore the news based on location, right? So that's another use, for instance. Or if you're a researcher looking at things around the city, for instance. There you go. If you're a researcher, if you are a social scientist, you can have your data and map it and visualize it in a map. There's actually a lot of companies that provide services for, sorry, it's not crypto, it's CartoDB. It's a company that specializes in taking data in spreadsheets and formatting maps based on that data. You see? So these are things that are very powerful, that can be used in many different ways to visualize different types of data according to geographical location. So let's discuss a little bit about that's about the IT system and how it's used. Okay. Many different applications in science, in social sciences, in even in your personal life, in news, etc. Tourism. Talking about the ethical implications of these type of systems, the ethical issues that arise, the obvious one is privacy, because if data is if you're able to identify the owner of the data or the people in the pictures or any kind of sensitive data like that, it represents a problem. It represents a problem of privacy, right? There are things, for example, if you use Street View, which uses geographical data combined with 360 degree applications. Let's see. For instance, here, so that's the Street View image of this particular street somewhere in Canada. But I use this one because it has some interesting situations here. You can see that the image uses software to kind of like detect, in this case, license plates and blur them out. But there are things that, there are situations where, for instance, what if these windows were open, or what if the curtains were open and you could see inside the living room, for instance, right? It is something to think about. On the other side, you can also see some vehicles and the license plates have been blurred out, but it is something to think about. What are the privacy concerns, right? Of using this kind of data. Also, maybe I don't need the information in terms of the license plate. I have enough information already. I have the car models, the car. I can recognize a lot of things just from the image that I have right here. So it's something to think about, right? In terms of privacy. Now, in my personal experience, I used this feature once because I was renting through Airbnb. I was renting an apartment, and it turned out that I could check it out like this before I went in and made the deal, right? And that was helpful because I wanted to make sure that what was advertised was actually what was being offered was real. So this feature was actually very helpful for that. I found a couple of places that were just not what they were advertising, right? When I went to check out the address, it didn't look anything like what they were saying that it should be. So it helped me make some good choices about what to do in terms of renting the place. So that's another application, and it's a positive impact for me. It was a positive impact for me. But then you have the issue of privacy, which we've talked about already, and you can see that people's faces have been blurred out, and that is done through software, most likely, right? That after the picture is taken, the software goes in, tries to detect the different faces, and blurs them out to protect people's privacy, right? So let's see. There's some people there, and I want to see if I can get them. Oh, she's just standing there. So yeah, so you can see that the face has been blurred out, right? Oh. There you go. Interesting. All right. So there's also the issue of surveillance, right? Because my phone is actually collecting all this geographical information all the time, and it's actually building maps on its own based on the information on my phone. So that's something that you have to think about, because you can actually follow my every step, every at every time, at every moment, every day of the week. So there is an issue of surveillance if this information was ever to get out, was ever to become public, right? So that's basically the information that I have right now for this topic. If you have other ideas about different issues that arise, let me know in the comments, and I hope that this is interesting and helpful to you in some way. Thank you very much.